Hello everyone, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. Tonight I wanted to look at Trump's base. I'll do some viewers' questions tonight in front of some 2019 predictions tomorrow, and generally the vibe or the theme of 2019. What can we expect? Now, I've had this question coming continually forward. What will Trump's base do if the evidence comes forward that he actually did collude or conspire with the Russians, he did obstruct justice, he has been making money off the presidency? What if the evidence came forward in all those things, and Trump was convicted even, or indicted, or cut a deal for immunity? Would his base still support him? So let's have a look at that. Will Trump's base still support him despite potential Russian conspiracy collusion? Will Trump's base still support him? We're only talking about his hardcore base. Will his hardcore base still support him despite potential evidence of corruption, conspiracy with the Russians? What will it take for them to withdraw their support? Will they still support him? So straight away we've got the Lovers, which is this partnership between Trump and his base. Okay, that's our signifier card. It's strong. Now we've got the Three of Wands here, and the Three of Wands is this teamwork and expansion. And also commerce. So this could be, it could be the fact that he's done a lot of work to strengthen his base. He's done rally after rally after rally. In fact, while he's been president, when he's not been golfing, he's been going to these rallies. So he's really, done that work to expand his influence over his base. And he's sort of travelled to the states that he knows that are going to be helpful to him. But this is also the card of commerce as well. So his promises regarding what he's going to do for America, how he's going to change, bring coal back, get them their jobs back, that is what's really influencing their thinking. They still support him because he's someone that said he would do things for them. But the thing is, he hasn't. Okay, now endings and beginnings. Now that's interesting because that's telling me that there will be a point when the whole Donald Trump sideshow finishes. His base might still be supporting of him, but I don't think it will matter by then. There will be so few. This is sort of like the dying out of the Trump phenomenon, if you like. I mean, it's the ending of his presidency, and if you look at the characters in these cards, they're really turning away as the ending occurs. They don't really have much influence. It's a barren landscape. It's not highly populated, and it's almost like they're inconsequential. So even though he's put all this time and effort into creating this base, it's not strong enough, okay? The majority of people are deserting him. The hardcore base that's left there, even though they still believe him, even though the ending of his presidency will come, they'll still be believing in him, they're inconsequential. They're not going to make too much difference. And look, this is the new action, the new leaders, the younger generation coming forward. It's almost like the Trump supporters are, they're like an era that's changing, okay? Because this is the change and the inspiration, the younger generation coming forward. And whoever's going to be governing, and this, I often, nowadays, I'm seeing this card as the new leader in 2020. That's who I'm seeing. I'm seeing that as potentially the new leader of the United States. I think that leader in the readings that I've been doing is going to have a healing influence or unity here. But the hardcore Trump supporters, it's like I'm getting the image of a tumbleweed in the wind. They're just going to be blowing along. There's no real substance or structure to them. And look, in relation to him promising the jobs back, he didn't deliver at all. It was a theft. Okay, so we've got the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords is betrayal and dishonesty. Donald Trump promised that he would do things for his base, and he hasn't delivered. And really, that's really, in one way, why his presidency will end. It's not only the corruption, but if you look at him now, he's very much a weakened president. And he's a weakened president because it's quite obvious he's been conning people. And look, they're at the crossroads, okay? So the hardcore supporters, in relation to them being conned, we've got the Two of Swords. So at some level, this is like balancing the forces and making compromises and making decisions. At some level, Trump's supporters will make a compromise on their political rabid political beliefs, if you like. They will have to make a compromise because his presidency is going to end. It's going to end very visibly, and they're going to have to acknowledge that he didn't deliver what he said he was going to deliver. And I think this is why he's so increasingly desperate to get that funding for the war, because he knows that. Now, look, in relation to the partnerships that he had with his base, we've got the devil card coming through. They're chained. They were chained to the devil, but we have this new leader coming here. So there's going to be a level of unity that will come in the future. But the hardcore, the ones that that won't be or that will support him no matter what. He didn't deliver what he said he would deliver. This is the Four of Wands, and this is like homecomings and celebrations. So it's almost as if, people can see his opulence, and that nothing much has been delivered for them, despite all the promises. Okay, it's almost like they can see that. See his opulence and see that he's got plenty, but they haven't got what they were promised. And things happening pretty quickly. This is like mirroring the endings of his presidency. I think these are this legal peril that Trump's in, coming down really quickly. That's going to have a lot of influence on his supporters. They're at the crossroads. They have to make a compromise. They have to make decisions. I think that the way in which his presidency ends, through legal jeopardy and peril, which is evidential and going, by the time it's going through the courts, going through the Congress, publicly known, when the facts are publicly known, are his hardcore supporters. Perhaps, as I said, the nucleus that is left are going to be inconsequential. For the others who are going to be making decisions and compromising on their political their political views, they're actually I think going to be influenced by the Russian collusion. It's almost like the treachery that they're going to be influenced by. But look, they're going to, turn away from Donald Trump because of potential treason to his country. Now, if you think about the meeting in Helsinki, what happened after that meeting, I think he got a taste of what it's going to be like for him when all that redacted copy is known to the public, and it's in plain sight, the conspiracy by Russia to attack America from within. I think whatever nucleus of support that Trump has left is going to be like that tumbleweed and blow away in a strong wind. So as the events unfold, I want to ask, will they cause trouble? Will they? That's another question people are fearful of. I would have to say that they're in such small numbers. Will Trump? But they're, some of them are quite unhinged, as we've seen in Charlottesville and the bombings that were sent in the mail, the bombs that were sent in the mail a couple of months ago. Are Trump's hardcore nucleus of support, are they going to cause trouble? Is there going to be any sort of violence or trouble as Trump is taken down from the presidency? Is there going to be any trouble? Yeah, Okay, so the High Priestess is things are in the subconscious at the moment, okay? So there may well be those that are thinking about doing something like that at the moment. It's not in actuality, but they're thinking about it. And the two of Wands, they're waiting to see what's going to be happening with the Mueller investigation, what's going to be happening with the Russia collusion, conspiracy part of things. This is Russia here too. I'm getting a strong feeling of an overseas influence here. So will Russia again be stoking the flames here as Trump's presidency unfolds? It's definitely been thought about. Yeah, okay, so here we have this five of swords again, which is the violent card. So yeah, so it's in the subconscious at the moment. There may be elements of his space that want to leave a message, a strong message. They could even be beginning or thinking about going to work on that right now. The Knight of Pentacles, which is mirroring this potential Russian waiting to see what's going to happen and then putting their plans into operation. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. Well, the Knight of Pentacles is like it's again this overseas influence, but it's also the card of, offerings, financial offerings, and work. So it could be you might have, again, some Russian influence, moneyed influence, funding these fringe groups in a way. But new beginnings for this violence and abuse card. Endings and beginnings, which are coming forward very strongly in the previous reading. So this is telling me that for the hardcore Trump supporters that may actually be considering, there could be some stoking of the flames by Russia to potentially create violence. There may even be some money changing hands here, which is what this is indicating. In relation to the violence, I'm not sure that it's going to be what would I say? Got the Fool card here, which is the new beginnings. I'm getting the impression that whatever's going to happen is not going to cause too much disruption. It's almost as if it's going to be found out or it's going to be stopped. There's going to be loss for them in some way. So it's almost like these plans, again, this working together aspect. It's definitely out there. It's definitely being considered. There's some Russian influences coming through here, possibly some funding. And, things happening quite quickly. You might get, as I said, whether or not it comes to pass is another thing. The other aspect of this card is fools. So if we're looking at bullies and violence and abusive kind of behaviour, the other aspect for this is they're prepared to step off a cliff. So in one way, this is impetuous behaviour. And we've got the Chariot, which is strong action coming forward. We've got cards here that suggest that people are working together. That it's, the other aspect of the High Priestess is secrets, to be revealed. Okay, so it looks from this reading that something could be planned. They're waiting for results. They're waiting to see how the Trump presidency will end. This is not a large amount of people. This is the very small amount of people that may be currently planning what they're going to do or thinking about what they're going to do should the Trump presidency end and Trump be taken down. I wonder if he knows. I wonder if he's aware of these plans. He seems to be trying to coerce this sort of reaction from his base with his tweets, with his words. It seems to me that he's trying to provoke this kind of reaction, but I still think that it's not in an evolved state. I still think this is still in the thought planning stage. I don't think it seems to me, I keep getting that tumbleweed image that that it's probably maybe not going to be a long-lasting thing. Okay. Is he aware of any plans of violence or protesting should his presidency end? Is Trump aware? The Queen of Pentacles, interesting. That could be a female influence. It could be this person comes up a lot in relation to Trump's potential corruption. Some people say this is Rebecca Mercer. Is a woman funding these things? That's what my feeling is. Things happening quite quickly. Is he aware? Another Queen of Swords, these queens that are coming up. Of course, we've got female judges as well. So this could be the Howell is the female judge that's oversighting the Mueller's grand jury. This Knight of Wands coming forward again, which is, I think, leadership, moving on and transitions, rock bottom and painful endings of the presidency. So is Trump aware? No, he's not. These plans, I guess, that are being formulated or thought about, my feeling is they're not concrete at the moment. Although, should his presidency end, you could see this action on the part of Russia, and you possibly could see this impetuous action on behalf of his hardcore supporters in some way, some sort of action being brought forward. So, look, that's a fairly comprehensive reading about his base. I'm going to switch decks now. People have been asking when will the shutdown end. The tarot is not... it can predict timelines, but it's difficult. It's difficult to say, okay, the shutdown will end on the 15th of January. A date which I just plucked out of my head, I might add. I'm I'm being facetious there. But we can sort of ask some general questions. So let's tune into the shutdown. Okay, we'll say, will the shutdown end by mid-January? Will the USA government shutdown end by mid-January? By mid-January, up to and by, before or by mid-January. Will the government shutdown, the US government shutdown, end up like before or by the 15th or mid-January? Shutdown end before or by mid-January. Government shutdown. Okay, well, very foolish behaviour to shut it down. Two of Pentacles, trying to balance, multiple forces and making choices. Now, this is multitasking as well, and it's also weighing up multiple options. So we can see that there are options being weighed up, probably by the Democrats and the Republicans. And then we've got the Four of Wands, which is this celebration card. The Five of Pentacles, which is indicating what has, well, Trump's isolation on the matter, but it was a foolish behaviour because it's impacted so strongly on government workers. It's financially distressing them. They are having to go without. Endings mirroring these Trump's attempts to weigh up multiple options, perhaps Democrats and Republicans talking. They're wanting to end the shutdown. Five of Cups, there's loss for somebody. Now, I'll just keep going with this particular technique. It's certainly it's not a considered action. So we've got this newness coming forward. We've got judgment. He's going to be heavily judged for his actions, his shutdown actions. Yeah, let's just have a look here. And the compromise card. Yeah. Okay, so this is commerce and wanting to get things going again. This reading is saying that it could end before or by mid-January, potentially around the compromises, Trump making a compromise, Republicans and the Democrats coming to him with some kind of watered down deal. Very, very foolish behaviour on the part of Donald Trump. This is indicating that there will be an ending there for the shutdown will end. And he's being one of the reasons why it will is because of the very, very strong judgments that are coming forward, and those workers, that Five of Pentacles, who were left out of the car, out in the cold. The Empress the Empress is really revealing how worried people are about the effects of government shutdowns and indeed Trump's erratic behaviour on the economy. When the Empress is at her best, things are going well, but this is sort of mirroring that judgment card. I think people are worried about the effects on the economy of Trump's erratic behaviour. So these cards are indicating that the shutdown, that there will be a compromise, and it was a very foolish behaviour. He's going to be judged harshly for it. He will indeed have to compromise, and the shutdown's likely to end before or by mid-January. Okay. So the other question that people have been asking is, if Trump is indicted, will he's pushed out in some way. The Republicans come to him and say, take this deal and go. Impeachment processes are started. However, he may even be indicted or become untenable for him to continue as president, and the Republicans will finally act. Will Nancy Pelosi become the next interim president? Will Nancy Pelosi become an interim president should Trump's presidency end? Of course, we'd have Mike Pence coming up next, but viewers' questions, we're asking, will Nancy Pelosi become an interim president? Nancy Pelosi become an interim president. Nancy Pelosi become an interim president. Okay, so we've got balance being needed. That's an interesting card because she may well come in, that's a female in this card, she may come in to restore some balance into the government. The King of Cups, this healing and nurturing and support. It looks like there will be a need for some sort of balance and stabilising influence coming forward because of this chaos and destruction that's been wrought by the Donald Trump's presidency, and also him stepping aside in some way, stepping down, potentially being impeached, taking a deal, walking away. The Queen of Wands, okay, and I think this is Pelosi here, and the retreat of the Trump presidency, and the secrets that are going to be revealed as a result of the ending of Trump's presidency, possibly via the Mueller investigation outing, if you like, what's been going on there. The Hermit, Donald Trump withdrawing. Yeah, so it's definitely coming out in this reading, exactly what's... these are kind of the deals that are being made. Could be the deals being made to get Trump out. Hope coming forward. Look at all of these major arcanas coming out here in relation to that question. Will Nancy Pelosi be an interim? This Judgment, I think these are mirroring the kind of conditions. And the Seven of Swords coming forward as this sort of betrayal and dishonesty that's going to be revealed in the Trump presidency. Wow. Gosh. Things happening very quickly, and the strength of the things that are happening very quickly. I think I've pulled half a pack full of major arcanas just on this one question alone. The Emperor, okay, the Emperor, Trump going down, another major arcana. New starts, okay, new starts to this one question. Oh my God, I'm a little bit surprised by the strength of this reading. And the Queen of Pentacles, again, this stabilising influence coming forward in the form of the Congress, and indeed potentially could be Nancy Pelosi. Okay, the Knight of Swords, the Soldier, the Freedom Soldier. Yeah, look, there are good indications that she may be. There's certainly the ending of Trump's presidency in this reading, but it's almost like if she is an interim president, and I saw this before, she will be almost governing with the Senate. So the Republicans hold the Senate, so there will be sort of like, whatever she's doing, she'll be doing on behalf of Republicans, and she'll be doing on behalf of the Congress, not on behalf of the Democrats. She'll be doing it. She'll be governing in the interests or with the authority of the Congress. So it's kind of like the way that I'm seeing it is, yes, there's a role for her when the Trump presidency finishes, but it's just not her being the next president, interim president, and ruling, on behalf of the Democrats. It's almost like she and the leader of the Senate are actually, almost co-governing in an interim way. That's the way that I'm seeing it. But I have to say, these major arcana that came forward then were quite unprecedented for my reading. Balance is going to be needed after some sort of destruction. There are secrets coming forward, and Trump's withdrawal. There's judgment being made in relation to the relationships. I think this is the relationships and partnerships that Trump had with the Russians. Obviously, could be others. There's strong action. I think this is Trump stepping down following those judgments. And there's strong action coming forward and potentially hope for the future as well. So there were 9 major arcana pulled in that reading from one question: will Nancy Pelosi be the next interim president of the United States? This reading's showing there's a role for her. There's a stability role that she's bringing after this destruction. There are new starts. There is a period of nurturing and healing that's needed after the theft and dishonesty and betrayal. There is healing that is needed. But this reading is showing that in some way she is governing with the authority of the Republicans in the Senate as well. So I can only call it as I see it. So there's some viewers' questions. We've got a fairly long reading on Trump's base. That last reading on Trump's base, there was something that came out in relation to planning something. Potentially Russia may be primed to get back onto social media in some way, stoke the flames of division. But it is only in planning stage. There's some kind of impetuous behaviour going to come forward there as well. But the feeling that I get also to provide people with peace of mind is that it's only a very small nucleus of supporters that won't back down. And I just keep getting that tumbleweed. So whatever problems that they're going to cause won't be long-lived. They will be short-lived, because I can see that moving on. They're moving on or being moved on. And in relation to the government shutdown, these cards indicated potentially before or by mid-January. I know that's a long time away and it's not exact, but that's what I can do with these cards. So if they had have shown that the shutdown wouldn't end by mid-January, then I would have asked, would it end by the end of January? And then we would be starting to consider that this thing is going to be going on and on and on, and you're likely going to face some trouble as a result of that. At the end of the day, when the shutdown ends, Trump is going to be left with really severe judgment around his behaviour. He's very, very, very foolish to have done that. I think this card came forward in the first card that I drew in relation to the shutdown. All right, I'm going to leave it there, viewers. I hope you enjoyed those questions. I'll be back on New Year's Eve with a look at some predictions, and we'll see how we go with those. Thank you very much.